at the end. But the one thing they need to get to is that, can he go a little bit faster than this one? There's some guy over there in lane 5 that really not like to have me run down in the first 2 rounds.
It's enough through 63 to 144 repetitions at the 70 mark. Wesley and Castellani will cross the finish and they will hand things off to Gonzalo Maxime and Julie Renee. So far, these last 2 heats that we've watched, the race has really started in the second part of this event. That's 5 rounds of 7. Wesley and Castellani grab the ball for the final time.
All right, your last set of thrusters. On the camera's like, you want to try it? Because if you try it, you're going to do it. Oh, yes. Yes. That's what you want to see. That's what you got to do when you're competing against the greatest team you've ever seen in the CrossFit Games.
Great effort from Wesley and Castellani, and they'll have the lead to Gonzalo Maxime and Julie Renee.
See that? Another technique, hopping up from the bottom. It's just a little quicker way to get in a plank position. The problem that does is that hop takes some energy out of your core and the muscle, so that shoots your heart rate up a little bit more.
Chase Hill and Taylor Williamson have moved into second place. Just ahead of Pro 1, Andrea Disler and Rich Cronin on the floor. That's Chloe David and Frederick Dubé for Pro 1. Continues to lead here. There on the bottom right of your screen, Gonzalo Maxime and Julie Renee trying to hang on to the lead that Lucas Wesley and Carol Castellani handed them after the first 7 rounds. We are now in the second part of this event. The 7 synchro wall walks and the 7 synchro thrusters. 5 rounds of that for pair number 2.
You know, I still think it's going to be close time-wise, because again, we're right at that 14-minute mark, which is over halfway of the time gap. And we said, if you want to finish this event, you're actually going to need more time on the back half than the front half.
Here comes Cronin and Disler. I was looking at Gonzalo Maxime over at North Center for CrossFit Gymnastics, and he was looking right at Cronin and Cronin was walking up the wall. Gonzalo was putting on his belt. He's on the right side. That's CrossFit Gymnastics. On the right in the middle is Pro 1. It's a pair of Chloe David and Frederick Dubé. Rich Cronin and Andrea Disler continue to work.
Andrea Disler looks very shaky on those thrusters. That she missed her first rep overhead on the clean.
That moving nicely.
There she needs to make sure he's watching Andrea.
And they have it in the lead.
That could have just been a positioning thing. We've seen that happen. We saw it happen last night with him and Carrie. She got spit out the back of the thruster, came back and won the heat, and almost got 3rd overall in the event. So things can happen. You can get out of position. The weight is heavy enough that it's going to demand good positioning and good technique. You can't fake a heavy thruster.
Cronin and Disler have the lead there in their second of 5 rounds. Pro 1 has now moved into second. The pair of Dubé and Chloe David and Gonzalo Maxime and Julie Renee are now back in 3rd place for CrossFit Gymnastics. They are on the right side of your screen.
Derek will do a quick react to that and toss to Rory, who will be hopefully in the area where the athletes are warming up.
The feeling's the same, you know, and the other side of the lens, the people that are watching, that are getting to speak different languages this time, it's all speaking to them the same way that it did 11 years ago when we first did it.
John and Annie take it to talk about the 2021 season, how athletes qualify for the games and so on.
I think we should talk about the season and do a real simple version.
CrossFit season this year is totally different, but that's actually not new. We're starting with the Open, but instead of going straight to the semifinals, we've added another stage called quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals
is taking the top 10% of the athletes from the Open and giving them another test, a more comprehensive test.
300 men and 300 women move on to semifinals, and then from the semifinal competitions, you run a qualifying spot for the Oxford Games.
And if any athlete misses qualifying for the games from the semifinals by a spot or two, then they get to go to the last chance qualifier, which is actually really cool and exciting for the community.
40 men, 40 women remain. They go to Madison, Wisconsin to compete at the CrossFit Games.
Davis, we go down and with about 10 seconds to go. And you do it the way that you always do it. 10 seconds, and then when you're ready, you lose yourself.
Okay.
Cool. So any other questions, folks? If not, I think we're good.
The team is doing so much work behind the scenes to make this work and seeing everyone come together in spite of the pandemic challenges. It really feels like CrossFit as a sport has made a big leap forward this year.
While the rules around the team competition have changed this year, one thing has absolutely remained the same, and that is the fact that Rich Froning and company at CrossFit Mayhem are once again the overwhelming favorites to win the Affiliate Cup.
Rich Froning won the CrossFit Games in 2011, 2012, 2014, and 2015. The fittest man on earth takes CrossFit Mayhem to the top of the leaderboard, and they become their 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games champions.
In 2014, everybody kind of knows I stepped away from individual to focus on my family, but be able to still scratch that itch to compete, and team was that way to do that.
CrossFit Mayhem is a fitness institution. It starts obviously with Rich Froning, the founder and owner of CrossFit Mayhem, and him being the four-time individual champion from 2011 to 2014. But then he was also able to parlay that into success at the team level as well.
Rich is at a part of his career where he doesn't have to play anymore. He still loves to be a part of the community, still loves to compete.
I still, have that drive, that want to compete, but to be the best in the world at anything, you have to be a little bit obsessive, balance in life, and so I knew my family needed to be at the forefront of that. When the Open comes around, I don't enjoy it because they're all individual workouts and all that stuff. I'm just like, not about that life. It's a shared suffering. It's the beauty of the CrossFit community. I think it's so much more fun to high five your teammates and fight after them and see them do it. Like I said, you watch them sacrifice and see the sacrifice that they put in. And so when we all succeed, it's a whole lot more fun and a whole lot more rewarding. Can't wait for the quarterfinals when we get to start doing team stuff again.
This year's team competition, it was announced that we're moving away from super teams and back towards a true affiliate cup. So what that means is that team members actually have to live in close proximity to one another within 100 miles, and they have to train predominantly with each other.
So for Team Mayhem, it meant 3 new people.
I think in addition to the shock that we had as fans, I think for Rich, it was the thought that, hey, does this mean that I'm retired?
Until last year, never thought of what my life would be after competing in CrossFit, and then not having the games for teams last year, I was like, wow, it's kind of nice. Honestly, really had no intention, especially with the way the rules were when they first came out of competing. But Chase, my wife's cousin, he wanted to compete, and he was like, hey, let's do this. Our goals for the team are always to win the CrossFit Games. I don't think there's any other goal. I don't think anybody else on the team has another goal either. I think this is it. This was more fortunate, I think.
3, 2, 1.
If you want to get better at fitness,